Hi everybody, it's Russ and my Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. New to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon. Gotta hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss any content, every interview, any guests, because everyone is priceless and everyone is individual, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them, particularly as we've only got a few days left and you haven't got football for another few months. So, you might as well subscribe now, and then you can start watching them all over again. Loads of great guests come up, including today's guest. You'll recognise him, part of the three Hammers. It's Luke. Hi, Luke. How you doing, man?
Brilliant, mate. Absolute privilege to be invited onto the show. I thought it was only a small channel. I thought you only invite the big boys on. Absolute privilege to be invited on, mate.
It's nothing, and it's funny because someone emailed me today, goes, I'm a nobody, can I come on the channel? And I was like, nah, because no, you can't. Yes, you can. It's like, just because you're it's not about who's you're Tony Cotty or you're a bloke who's a season ticket holder for 20 years. It's all here. This is the thing that matches us, albeit different configurations of the badge, but that's all it is. It's all about West Ham, all about West Ham fans, and it's nice to have some of the players on, but I like listening to the fans. I think it's just like being down the pub, innit? And I think that's what I miss. That sort of like fan interaction down the pub, and
that community feel.
Exactly. No, totally. And that's how this channel sort of has gone like mental because of that. Now, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Luke's a PE teacher, so he's been a bit busy. We've all had our feet up with our Zoom calls, but he's been in the school. How has lockdown been for you in general, Luke?
It has been a bit mental. It's a bit cliche, the thing with teachers have been more busy. They have, mate. They have. Trust me, that I would much rather be in front of 30 kids than do it for a computer. You know what I mean? Especially like I've not taught PE for 10 weeks, and to take that away from me, that's my passion, to teach kids sport, and that's what I love. And I've not been able to do it, obviously, because you've got to go and wash 30 balls, you've got to go and wash 30 punch bags or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I can't wait till September when it goes back to some normality, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's been weird, and obviously as a young dad, well, I'm not young, but as a dad of a young child, it's been absolute. Actually, it ain't been too bad. It's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, because I've got a newfound respect for all teachers, regardless of what subject, because fucking hell, you get doing all these lessons every day. It does my brain in. My mother-in-law is doing her brain in.
Little ones, mate. Especially the little ones, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's 8, and she's and it's where you get a situation where you remember a certain way that I don't know. Subtraction was done, you're taken away, and even me saying subtraction, she won't get it. And I was like, why? Oh, because we do taken away.
It's completely different now, mate. It's completely different now, mate.
It's like English as well. It's like obviously they write phonetically and stuff. So you look at the story and you think, oh, it's just full of spelling mistakes, but it ain't. It's just written phonetically. But getting our head around it. But and now we've got our head around it. We've got 6 weeks not doing nothing. So it's been all good, man. It's been all good. But obviously, same with the football. We didn't have no football for 100 days. And the longest season in the world is just about to finish on Sunday.
It's strange. Very strange.
Weird, isn't it? We've just had this sort of plethora, this sort of flood of football. Yeah. And then
it's been Sunday, nice because that's replaced what would have been the Euros, those quick fire matches. But originally I didn't miss it, because I was one of the ones beating the drum. We're going down. If it comes back, we're going down. I didn't think we had the mentality to do it. They proved me wrong, and I'm glad they have proved me wrong, mate. I'm glad they have.
Yeah, you're right. It's been weird, isn't it? And it's like, but I think everyone, as soon as restart happened, it was clear how much the fans, are integral, and we know where they are, but they are integral because talking to a lot of ex-players. They say, sometimes when you're feeling shit and, that extra 10% that the 15% that the crowd gives you, they haven't had it. And it's been evident, those first few games are absolute rubbish, not just for West Ham, but across the board. It seems to, in the last sort of 2 weeks, particularly, as you said, we've obviously we've found this sort of newfound form, and we've got these
professionalism
giants.
has kicked in, hasn't it? That winning mentality of just being an athlete has kicked in,
And it's weird because at the beginning when we played Wolves came out and they looked like they meant business, and they obviously were really, and now they've fallen by the wayside. And it seems like the guy, and like Sheffield United, you always thought they were a very professional team, and it's really impacted their season, where our season has just seemed to, we could finish like, above Palace, I think, looking at it.
Dizzy heights, mate.
I'm gonna get a nosebleed. I'm getting a nosebleed. We all criticise, you know, the Allardyce years and stuff, but I wouldn't mind one of those boring 11th place finish.
100%, mate. 100%. You give me 11th place next year, I'll bite your hand off, mate.
11th place, quarterfinals. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's what I want next season, please.
No headlines,
please,
no drama, just nice, steady season.
Yeah.
Consolidate something, you know what I mean? Start building some sort of RB lies peg model that he's trying to build or whatever, you know, if you believe that.
I think that's the way we have to operate as a club. You know, we have to operate that as a club, because I think, you know, we're not going to, you know, we're not in it for the football, Luke. We know that. But, you know, it'd be nice to have a good team that plays good football, runs, you know, is committed. And I think getting hungry young people in from the Championship, you know, obviously they're looking at Moyes was at Wigan, he was at Charlton, you know, he's looking at Eze from QPR and these type of people. That's who we need. You know, they're going to be around. And football, the whole model of football has changed now. You know, you don't get your Billy Bonds or even your Mark Nobles anymore now. You know, 3 years, flip them, and that's unfortunately the way football is, unless you're
right,
top echelons. And I think actually, you know, someone like Bowen is and Souček, you know, these guys, they picked them up, not massive players, you know, not massive. Obviously 17 million's a lot, but not in today's money. But you know, Souček around the same 16, 17 million after you've paid his loan fee and that should be, I think it's going to be announced soon. In it, I think that's all done now.
I think Gio said it from Emma's chat about Souček. Literally the day we signed him for 13 million, whatever it is, he's probably worth back 25 already.
Yeah,
because you know, he's proved what the player he is. You know, he's so athletic. He's an absolute nightmare in the box, isn't he, for defenders?
Yeah.
So again, like you say, it's that resale value. That's what I like. You know, if we're going to buy someone, at least someone that we're going to get more money for, or at least the same money. Because Felipe Anderson, now you look at him and you think, they ain't getting 40 million for him. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, it's same as, I mean, you know, and you're right. I mean, the last couple of seasons we haven't done that. We haven't bought players with a sell-on value in mind, you know what I mean? And even like, you know, I mean, as I said, you know, we won't. If you flipped Souček, you'd get 25 million. You're right. If you flipped Bowen, you'd probably get 25 million, 30 million already for him, because he's clearly going to be an amazing player for us.
Definitely.
And that's obviously the way. And until then, you're right. We wouldn't get our money back on Anderson. Haller, probably not as well, although, you know, Monaco want him apparently, but to go back to with Kovac. But yeah, I just think, you know, it's the way to go. And I think hopefully, you know, if we you know, obviously tonight in a bit you'll have the Championship finishes as well tonight, apparently. I think that out as well.
Part of me, I want Brentford to get up. I really like some of Brentford's players, so it's like, oh, if they stayed down, then we could take that Benrahma and Ollie Watkins.
That's exactly my thought. And it's like, okay, well, then if like, I wouldn't mind seeing, because then if West Brom go up, obviously Slav will come back, and I like Slav as a man, and Julian and stuff as well. So, and it'd be good for Dean Garner, and, you know, obviously he'll come back, and or even if they go up, then obviously his price tag goes up. So it's, you know, it's I mean, you know, bloody hell, Fulham could still go up if everything else.
I've got a soft spot for them as well, Scotty. I might mention Scotty later when we do our little more 11.
But obviously, like, you know, we can talk about this all the time. But obviously, the whole idea is about your West Ham journey and the players that you love. Now, in terms of your story, why is West Ham your club? I could probably guess why West Ham's your club, but why is it?
I'm originally from Canning Town, obviously.
Yeah.
My dad's a West Ham fan, granddad a West Ham fan, literally every single person West Ham fan. What really got me into it, though, was a neighbour at the time used to work for Dagenham Motors. So she had access, and she used to obviously like work with these people that did the Man of the Match awards and things like that. Yeah. So she'd turn up my house when I'm 8 years old with all these like signed pictures of Julian Pick, signed pictures of Stan Lazaridis, and then one year like this football came. Monker, Steve Potts, like at the time I didn't really know what it's worth. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I like Julian, I've heard that name, but yeah, that's what really got me into it. And my mum and dad's landlord at the time was Frank Lampard Senior as well. He used to own our property, yeah.
Oh, amazing. And that's funny, isn't it? That's like, I didn't have an appreciated till I started doing the channel. It's like all until like, I don't know, probably the 90s, maybe the early 80s. Everyone had a second, all the footballers had a second line of business. He said it was property, or we interviewed Jackie Hughes, and she was on the stalls next to Harry Redknapp's stall and John Charles's. And it's weird when you think about, you can't imagine Haller, carrying a fruit and veg stall, at South Ockington Market or something like that.
Time as well. A time, like my dad says, he remembers young Frank would have been about 13. Actually came into our house. At the time, it's like, oh, that's just Frank Lampard's son. It's just surreal. It is surreal.
It's true. Once someone I can't remember, it's going to really annoy me now. Another one we interviewed. They went to hospital and saw, because they were friends with the Lampards, and they held Frank Lampard when he was a baby, when he just come out. It's funny, isn't it? And that's what I love about West Ham. There's so many of these stories which are coming out, which we're sort of recording, and it's lovely because everyone has their own individual story. And as you said, little things like Frank Lampard Senior was your mum and dad's landlord. It's brilliant, and it just shows how West Ham just gets into you, doesn't it? You don't mean to. Some people don't think they're a West Ham fan, and then they end up at Upton Park with a season to go over 20 years, and I don't know how that's happened, but it does. It just gets into you, doesn't it? It's like when you look, particularly for you as well. As a teacher, you might have parents' evening coming up on one night, and actually it's like, oh shit, we're at home to Liverpool that day. It's like might have to back end all the meetings, so we're done by.
I certainly won't be doing me cough at the minute. I won't be going. I don't feel well, especially not at the moment. Let's close the old school down.
Right, you stay in for 14 days. Yeah, you can't go out for nothing. Start getting all your trace and track and trace stuff.
And
obviously since then, what was your first game? Do you remember your first game?
Yeah, we spoke about that on the podcast actually a couple of weeks ago. It was Norwich. That's why we spoke about it. It was me and Paul, exactly the same game. Norwich 2-0. Tony Cotty, both goals.
Oh, how funny.
So I don't remember much about the game at all. I just remember the yellow and green. That's why it sticks out. The yellow and green of them. Just walking out into that West Stand and being like, oh my God, this is incredible. Do you know what I mean? Just the noise, and that first time you hear West Ham score a goal, it's incredible, isn't it? Just like, what the hell was that? Like, Jesus Christ. But obviously didn't appreciate the whole moment at the time. The players I was watching, Tony Cotties and people like that. But what a day, what a moment. The smell of piss and pie and smoke, that Upton Park smell that you will never replace. You know what I mean? Walking past the Village Wine Bar on Barking Road, that's what I miss about Upton Park. It's that whole
I know what you mean.
Community.
It's
do you
the
know
smell,
what I mean?
isn't it? You're right. It's the smell.
It's a smell.
I was interviewing a guy I used to work with at West Ham yesterday, and it was we spoke about how, because I found out yesterday that he's pop over to the supporters club for a pint before kickoff, and I was like, oh, okay, so there I am, holding. Can't go for a piss until the end of the game because he's having a beer, but it's that smell of those burgers, wasn't it? It's that cheap burger smell, and it's like you can't replicate that.
Sweat, fruit,
and the
spice.
Grass as well, isn't it? And the grass when it made it's just, and the grass on the pitch, let alone walking down Green Street. But that smell, and it's just like you can't replicate that smell, and it's like, and it's just weird when you think about it. I can still smell it. I can still smell the cheap. You don't know what meat was in there. I had no idea. But
just the program man that used to stand on the corner near the carpet shop. It's just all these little bits of your journey and your day. You know what I mean?
And the guy at the church who used to sell the pin badges, and the 2 for £1 pick a mix guy the other side. And it's funny if I was watching Iron Man the other day. I don't know why I watched it, because then it gets me all emotional, and it's like, but I watched it and it was like, you forget, don't you? You forget things.
I
know. It was the 2 for 1 pick a mix guy. I forgot particularly, but
I did a video down Green Street the other day actually. I was saying like, there was a sweetie guy, there was that, and literally, like you say, mate, it gets me straight away. Like, I'm back in that moment of that last game, and it's like, even a man my age, 35, do you know what I mean? It's like, I shouldn't be doing this. I start crying on video.
I know. I am. That last game, I was on jury service that week, and luckily my case had been deferred to the afternoon, so I drove up there early, parked in my usual spot, and obviously, you know, the security was a lot lax than it was in London Stadium, but I still had my pass. So I was, and there was no way. It's just probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. There was no one there, a few people setting up, and I just could walk around, sat in my old seat where I sit with my granddad, and you know, had a wee in the changing rooms, you know, all these like, and it's like should have had a shit really in the Man United one, but I didn't. But yeah, no, it's and it was just so emotional, and watching that again, you just all these emotions came up again. It's just the mentalness of the day, and it was just
it was crazy. It was crazy, though.
Brilliant, wasn't it? It was brilliant. It was one of those things where you know that. It was hot. It was awful, but it was a celebration. And looking back, you're like, it was an amazing. That whole season was just amazing for us, wasn't it? I mean, you know, it was
actual day though. I was like a kid in a candy shop because I hung about. I got out of work at 3 o'clock, and I was just hanging around the car park. It's like, the Canio, there's Ray Winston, there's Steve Lopez, John Redknapp, like. It was just madness. Like the amount of autographs I got that day was ridiculous. I was like a 5-year-old kid, running around.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and it, you know, it was, you know, it was sad, but you know, we move on, you know, and that's the idea. And you know, it's, you know, it's not, and it's horrible to think, but you know, obviously everything that's happening isn't necessarily for the older generation; it's for the younger generation. Like my daughter, she's 8. Yeah, I got her into Upton Park when she was 3. You know, walked in. So she had a picture there, but to her, West Ham play at London Stadium. That's what she knows. And you know, we think about social distancing. We think about, you know, having to go back and, you know, potentially, I don't know, in September, October, they're going to have a few fans there. Actually, the London Stadium is really well set up for social distancing.
I agree, mate. I agree.
Wouldn't have been. It really wouldn't have been.
No.
But it is, you know, I tried to do it the other day at the Watford game. I tried setting up. If I was here, okay, there's 1 meter there and 2 meters. But it is quite easy to do actually.
It's a massive stadium, isn't it?
Right, so it is. I mean, it is. Yeah, I mean, so and the old girl was falling apart. Bless her, she was. You know, I mean, I still had a tape deck. You know. I wouldn't play all the time, but we still had a tape deck and stuff, and it needed a reason. But anyway, we move on. So obviously, you know, Norwich 2-0. That was a Cotty goals. You know, brilliant how you both had the same first game.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I didn't know him at the time. Either.
That's brilliant. I love stuff like that. That sort of serendipitous, your sliding doors moment. But since then, obviously, lots of great memories. We spoke about, you know, the last game at Upton Park and stuff like that. Any more that stick out? Maybe the stuff, doing with the three hammers
There's
stuff.
Two games, like pinnacle to my life, and just like my 16th birthday, United away, Old Trafford, Fabian Barthez. That day of my life.
Brilliant.
That 16th birthday, and usually 26th of January is when West Ham got the FA Cup. So usually my birthday is not a good day, but this year. I was still at school then as well, so year 11. All the Man United fans, like we were saying, the Cockney Reds, you know, we're saying, we'll beat you, mate. To go in school next day on that Monday and be like, we done you.
Yeah.
What a day. Honestly, one of the best days of my life, that was. The other one, I was there, 3-0 against Tottenham. I thought my head was going to explode. Like, the noise was just ridiculous when Ravel Morrison's goal went in. One of the best goals I've ever seen live as well. That Ravel Morrison goal, unbelievable goal.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's funny, and it's always Man United with us, isn't it? Always Man United. I was talking to a bloke this morning, and from a Man United YouTube thing, and he was like, "So, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, you know, when there's something on the line for Man United, we always turn up." Yeah, what do you mean? I said, well, okay. Well, I said, you know, I've got some great players. Yeah, Ludic McCloskey. He was one of my favourite. I literally just Winston Reid. You know, reeled off basically everyone who'd scored against Man United in the recent time. They didn't clock on. It was really funny. But yeah, no, he's always Man United with us. It's one of those things where, you know, obviously the Jose years we were quite dominant with them and stuff. But and it's true. You have these certain. For me, it's always my birthday. It's always Tottenham at home. Pretty much 25th of September. Birthday cards send a birthday card to the address. But 25th of September, pretty much if it's a Saturday, is always Tottenham at home. We usually win, obviously, because it's Tottenham. But yeah, no, it's funny how certain games come around. And like you said, 16th birthday at Old Trafford.
Oh, mate, it was incredible.
Awesome.
Incredible.
Particularly like how many thousand more people than you would do for a normal league game because it was the FA Cup.
Yeah, 10,000 of us there that day as well. Incredible.
Awesome. Mate. All being nutters, all screaming, all shouting, and what a great birthday. Jeez. What
sausage roll I've ever tasted as well.
Really? They do
sausage roll over at Old Trafford, yeah.
I'm a sucker for a sausage roll, I'll be quite clearly, as you can see. Yeah, no, I'll have to go to Old Trafford next season. I'll have to have a word and get a ticket and go and try it out. Yeah, no, love a good sausage roll. So obviously, and obviously doing the Three Hammers stuff, it must be great doing that type of stuff with you and your mates and stuff. And
oh yeah, mate. When we started it, I just wanted to do a diary for the last ever season at Upton Park for myself. Yeah. So like when I'm an old man, I can look back and go, "Oh, that was a bloody great day. That was a great day." And then, it just sort of started getting a bit, a little bit of success. We had some good guests on, and I did fall out of love with it for a little while. I will admit it. I fell out of love for it for about an 8-month period. Then I realised, what? It's not about the subscribers. It's not about the views. This is a chance to chat with my mate. Basically, talk bollocks about West Ham once a week. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get to see Paul. Paul lives in Belfast. He is my best mate. That's the only time I get to see and chat to him once a week, and that's what it is. Yeah. That's again, West Ham brought us back together there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Exactly, and it's so true. It's like it's like when I started this idea, it was like, might be a good idea. I'll have a go. We'll have a try. And obviously, because I was missing football and stuff, and I've made so many met so many amazing people and so many amazing fans that it's to be honest, I sit in that little box. I don't really socialize with any West Ham fans really outside, but now it's like I've got this amazing bunch of people, if it's on Facebook or Twitter or on my phone, text, and it's so lovely to have this sort of one thing. Now anything that connects us is being West Ham, and it's lovely. And so you as Paul, you're not miles apart, but you're across the Irish Sea, and particularly at the moment, you don't get a chance to see each other, and you can sit there and talk about West Ham, and it's great, isn't it? I love it. It's so much fun because my wife doesn't know what I'll get up to, but because she knows I'm talking about West Ham.
His wife does know.
The only one she gave a shit about was Harry Redknapp because she'd heard of him, and Chesney Hawkes. That's the only two, and Chris Akabusi as well. Chris Akabusi, so they're the only ones that she's given a shit about, to be honest. But it's it don't bother me. It keeps me quiet, and she's got plenty to watch on the telly anyway, so she's happy as well. She keeps me busy. Now, obviously, what we try and do is this 11. That's our idea. That this our sort of niche is picking this sort of Hammers 11. And as I said, the only rule is that you have to be alive to have seen them play. Now, to be honest, you've got a very similar spread to me, to be perfectly honest, in terms of your players. I'm only a couple of years older than you. And so it'd be really interesting. Now, as I said, you're worried about formation. Now, this new way of recording, formations are out the window. You can play whatever formation you want, man. Because we can.
Now, what's the Nicky episode? I watched the Nicky episode, and you was like, "Oh, you have to stay with 4-4-2," and I was like, "Oh no, I've gone with 4-2-3-1."
God bless Nicky. He was one of the early guys to get on the channel, and then I was really sort of dictatorial on what you had to do, and actually, having this sort of. Having the ability, the freedom to do whatever you do means we get some more players and different. We've had about 170 odd different players on the channel, not on the channel, but appear on the channel in terms of their people's selections. And, by changing the formations and stuff, I've had Bobby Moore in goal because, nothing will get past him. So we'll put him in goal anyway, that type of stuff. And I think, why the fuck not? It's all fun and games. So we'll start between the sticks for the Luke 11. Who are we going to have between the sticks, man?
I'll just do it really quick, mate. Carlton Cole every single position. No, I'm joking.
And that's it. Good night. Good
night. Carlton Cole is my god. Every position.
I love Carlton Cole.
Mate, I love him, mate. I've got a lot of place, a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
Mate, I was talking to you on Twitter this morning, weren't I, about the players you have to leave out, and I've done a special note basically nearly for every position. Like the players I've not picked: Hislop, Adrian, Bernard Lamar. I used to really like a guy called Ian Feurer as well. He came in
Yes,
for
American
Shaka
guy.
Islam.
Yeah.
Huge guy.
Yeah.
He was about 6'8", I think he was. Really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
big guy. I think there's no choice, mate, for me. Robert Green.
Neil Finn. What? Oh, sorry. I
Yeah.
was Neil Finn.
If you're,
I was
yeah.
gonna say
No, Robert Green.
Yeah.
Has to be Robert Green, mate.
Yeah.
You know, he was Hammer of the Year, 2008. 2012 playoff was a big moment for him. It was just his last ever game. It was a great moment. Games that stick out, moments. A lot of these players that I've picked out have got moments for me. Arsenal away,
I like it.
Man United away,
Yeah.
1-0. It's amazing. I've met him as well, top guy. I had a pink camera at the time at the West Ham shop, and he was signing shirts with Julian Fulbert. And he's like, "Oh, I really like the camera, mate." Like just one of them really nice moments that I've had. Great penalty saver as well. How many penalties did he save in a row at one point? Was it like 7 or 8? I remember him saving Ronaldo's penalty in the Man United game one time.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Just a top goalie, mate. I see, it's sort of parroted all the time, but he's harshly judged on that World Cup, mate.
Of course he is. Yeah, goalkeepers are
massively judged on that. Listen, this guy was class. He was class goalie. Really was class. Top guy.
And what I love about Greeno is he doesn't take himself too serious. I don't think goalkeepers do in general, but he doesn't take. I mean, you've seen the state of his Sheamus from WWE like haircut at the moment, and I just love him and the fact he puts Chelsea European Cup winner, and he played that. I love. There's the one thing I miss about and going through this sort of project, whatever I call it, channel, whatever. The one thing I miss even more now is characters in football. We just don't have them in football. We just don't. And the world's too professional, the uber professional, you got social media, all that type of stuff. And you don't get people, very rare people like Robert Green and Crouchy and people like that. They're just blokes, and they're just very fortunate to be given this God-given talent. And
they really appreciate what they do. Like a Jimmy Bullard character as well. Like just funny guys,
good
man.
Shout. Yeah, and even like Razor Ruddock and people like that sort of era of playing, obviously for us, the Monkses and the Mad Dogs and people like that. We just miss that, and I think that's why we never. That's why it seems that West Ham always, I think, or football fans in general don't have that same affiliation with players. Look, Man United and Pogba and people. It's like he's so up there that you don't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't see him down the pub. You know what I mean?
You hear my dad tell stories about, because Bobby Moore used to own a pub in East Ham called Moro's. My dad says he walked in there and Bobby Moore was just sitting there having a drink. Like, that's World Cup winner. Can you imagine getting anywhere near Harry Kane, for example, if we would have won the World Cup?
Yeah,
it wouldn't happen. You wouldn't get anywhere near him. You wouldn't get nowhere near him. And that's just the difference. You know what I mean?
You're right, and it's like with someone like Shaka, for example. I mean, he's a classic example. I used to live in Loughton, and they all lived in Loughton, and you'd be in Sainsbury's, or was it Sainsbury's? That'd be Morrison's at the time. No, Safeways or Morrison's at the time. They changed names, and you'd see him because he's like his head and shirt. He's like a foot above. He was a massive guy, and you'd go up and chat. I mean, I remember. I used to work there. I remember bloody Samasi Abu doing his shopping, and he's like, I got his, and people like, we don't get that anymore. And I think that's a really for the kids of today. They see footballers in this upper echelons, and I don't think it's a real sad thing. But it won't change. But I mean, you get some people like Deck and Mark Noble and people like that.
The stadium move didn't help that either, mate.
I think it's just football in general, but I think most football in general. But I
used to wait, like even as an older bloke, I used to wait. I've got a picture of Lanzini and stuff like that from about 6 years ago. But you can't even get near him now. You can't. That moment now. You used to go down to training ground, Chapel Heath. I used to love doing that. Got loads of pictures. Joe Cole, Carrick, all of them. Back days. Ian Wright back in the day as well.
Oh, right. So no, I just think it's football in general. You're right. I mean, with these massive sort of stadiums, you're right. It's like the player, most of them come in by coach now. All together. You don't get, I don't know, Ludo turning up in his Skoda or Martin Allen turning in his Dagenham Motors, wherever he got that month, and you just don't get that anymore. And I think it's a shame because, as you said, I think the kids would have appreciate it more because they can start. I mean, I remember bloody massive tangents, but I remember going meeting Pete Butler at a Junior Hammers birthday. You could buy a birthday party with a Junior Hammers in the little school next to it, and it'd be like 10, it'd be like a normal birthday party. You get someone from the community centre who would do it. And part and parcel was a player would turn up and you'd get to meet a player, and it was Pete Butler.
Never get that now. You never ever get
exactly.
that
Like,
never.
You've been Ours Adventure House in Fairlock Waters and Anderson walks in. It wouldn't work. You wouldn't work like that now. And I think it's a shame because these guys are absolutely cracking guys.
I remember on that as well, just another one of them stories back to the beginning a little bit and going back a bit.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first moved to my second house, it was on Cumberland Road, which is in Plaistow, and moving that day. So as I moved in, Danny Williamson just moved to Everton. So he used to live on that road. It was like, oh, he plays for West Ham, Danny Williamson. And then, he moved to Everton the day I moved to my house. It's just, again, all these crazy little stories. It's
I love it. Yeah.
Reflect on.
When I used to live in Loughton, in Queen's Road, in Loughton, I don't live there anymore, so I can give the address away. And 4 doors up was a West Ham house. So West Ham bought a house, and they would basically, it was either full of kids, like the youngsters. So I think Joe was there sometimes, or they'd loan it out, or they'd give it to a player. I remember Adrian Whitbread. Do you remember Adrian Whitbread?
Yeah.
He is in that house, and it was always like, oh my god, it's Adrian Whitbread. It's like it's amazing. But it's like, I love just but again, stuff like that is just good to just talk about because it documents it on YouTube and people can listen to it. And I'm sure there'll be loads of other people in the comments saying, oh yeah, my house was next door to, I don't know, Papa Boopa Diop, or that's what I love. That's the great one. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Do you know what? I love the man. I interviewed him. John Pansel is a lovely.
He's a lovely guy, mate. Lovely guy.
He still texts me. He's lovely. I love John Pansel, and he was just so friendly and so like they all are. I mean, you interviewed. I haven't had one shit interview with a player because they're all just give you their time of day, and we'll talk to you like you're a normal human being and stuff, rather than think they're better than you or whatever. But anyway, that's the first keeper, that's the first position. Robert Green. Anyway, who's next? I'll let you just go through the team as you want to.
Do you want me to go? Should we do right back? We'll go right back first.
Yeah, whatever, man.
It was a tough position. Like we haven't had many great ones, have we? It's been a problem position. Honourable mentions. Schemmel, obviously. One season wonder, but what a brilliant player. I didn't mind Guy Demmel as well. Thought he weren't too bad at right back. Who else have I got here? Jenkinson, not bad as well on loan. That first season on loan, he was quite a decent right back. I've gone for one. I don't think he's been mentioned much on your channel actually. Lucas Neal, mate. Lucas Neal is my right back.
Yeah.
I really like Lucas Neal. Ozzy, I wanted us to sign him as well. I was very excited when we signed him. He's proper old school Aussie, don't take no crap, likes to scrap, really good at Blackburn. He was close to joining Liverpool as well, weren't he? I think
he was, yeah.
He signed for us for the money, and then he denied it. I remember that. Leader, strong, controversial, a good player, mate. A good, solid fullback, mate.
Brilliant.
Don't offer much attacking wise. No, a great defender. Defender.
And a really good captain.
Definitely.
We've had. We had Anton on the channel and stuff, and they talk about Lucas Neal and he's captain. And again, a lot of stuff doesn't get talked about in terms of him. So, it was great to see. It was really interesting to see when he was talking about it, about some of the stuff he brought into play. It was 2 stories he mentioned. One was he made everyone give a percentage of their win bonus. He collected it in a pot and gave it out to the kit man, the groundskeeper, the cleaning lady, the tea lady, because, if they were doing what they were doing already, by giving them a bit extra, they would go above and beyond. And I totally agree there, exactly. And the second story was when we was having that really shit bit of the season, when Curbs and it was Curbs and Mervyn Day, he called a team meeting. He brought all the players in, and Curbs and Mervyn were walking behind. He went, no, just for players. Shut the manager and assistant manager out, and basically turned around and said, look, we're doing absolute crap. At the end of the day, if you don't want it, if you don't want to play with us, there's the door, man, and I'll have a word with Alan and we'll get you out of the team. And everyone was like, okay, and it made a big difference. He's a great player. I love Lucas.
Good player, mate. Good player.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant player.
But I liked it because his name was Luke as well. I think that's
his name's Luke.
The only other one is Luke Chadwick.
you know what? We've had him on the channel.
Nice guy.
I love. He's a beautiful man. You know, he was so funny, and he's so. You know, that's what I like. He's just similar to like Rob Green. You know, he just didn't take himself too seriously. He said, "Yeah, I didn't play loads, but I love my time at West Ham, and I wish I could have played more. But you know, everyone was playing better than me and stuff. Yeah, fair enough. You know, I mean, okay, Luke. Lucas Neal is in. Luke, who is next?
I'll go left back. It's obvious, but I'll do my honourable mentions again because there are some great players that I've really liked at left back.
Yeah.
Really liked Scott Minto. I thought Scott Minto was really good in that Di Canio era. Stuart Pearce, I absolutely love Stuart Pearce. The fact that he stomped his leg in when he broke his leg and was willing to carry on and play, for me, that he has to have a mention. He scored one of the not best goals, but moments in the stadium. We lost the game. It was an FA Cup game against Tottenham. He scored a free kick. I've never seen Upton Park go that crazy. Literally, people were just flying everywhere. But what a player he was. You got Rufus Brevich, you got Nigel Winterburns, Jesse Powell's. You know, there's some real good left backs we've had.
Yeah, solid.
But there's only one man, mate. It's Julian. Julian is a legend.
Julian Dix, yeah.
I don't think there's a West Ham team that hasn't got him. You know, the guy is an absolute legend. 4 times Hammer of the Year. I've written down here, left foot wand. Do you know what I mean? It was an absolute wand. Got West Ham. He loved kicking the person up in the air. How he would get on in modern day football, I don't know.
He wouldn't. I don't think he would. But yeah.
See his last ever goal as well against Swansea. Joe Cole's debut as well, coincidentally, that game.
Cool.
What a guy. I mean, that is, if you could define West Ham of our generation, you've got your Bobbies, your Billies that are that generation, but our Julian is icon, true icon, absolute icon. Lovely guy as well.
Totally. Lovely guy. And he's just a lovely bloke. I don't think there's be much more I can say, to be honest. Luke, you said it all.
First person on the back of my shirt as well. First person I ever heard on the back of my shirt. We're that 10 years old walking in school. Oh,
he's got dick on his back of his
but
what a great guy. Yeah, he is, man. And there's nothing else you can say about him, to be honest. He's what he is, isn't he? I'll let you carry on, man. You go through the team as you want.
Centre back. The first centre back. Again, my first honourable mentions, mate, for you. Stevie Potts. What a player, you know, legend, loads of appearances. Inge, obviously, brilliant player. He didn't quite make the cut, though. He was close. He was so close. And then I was arguing between these two guys on who was going to get the other spot at centre-back. So it was between this guy, Stimac, who I thought was a fantastic centre-half. What a ping he had on him as well. Winston Reid just gets it a buck for me. Again, for moments. It's moments, mate.
Yeah, you're right.
The Manchester United game, scored in that Spurs game.
That's my daughter. I'm really sorry. My daughter's just banged the door.
That's right. Let me just
2 seconds, I promise.
That's right, mate. That's fine.
Love you. Oh yeah, Winston Reid, carry on. Little interlude there. Everyone saw the back of. Everyone can see that my lounge as well, which is very nice. Sorry, man. Karen, you talk about Winston Reid.
So like I say, mate, Winston Reid for me, purely again for the moments. Spurs away, that 3-0 game, he scored in that game. He scored in the Millwall game. He scored in that last ever game at Manchester United. And for them moments alone, he deserves a place in the team.
You're right.
Commanding. Totally. Great in the air, especially after such a bad debut as well. Played it right back on his debut. Shocking. What a player. Such a shame the injuries have tarnished it now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, also, the fact is, you've got to think he's been here almost 10 years. Still technically.
It is 10 years, yeah. 10 years.
Because we signed him in the World Cup. Obviously, the big fanfare came along with it. It's like, we're going to sign this World Cup not winning, but World Cup defender. And I was thinking, here we go. Nesta's coming. Here we go. No, New Zealand defender. And to be honest, they did all right at the World Cup. I think they even let a goal in, during the World Cup. But and he's been here for so long. And you're right. The best thing that we could have done was went down, because he then had a new lease of life in the Championship.
A year to build his confidence up, in English football.
Totally. Yeah. And, I don't know if it's true, but obviously Arsenal and Liverpool were after him and we didn't go. And
he was top centre-back. At one point, he was top centre back. He really was.
Yeah,
Unbelievable in the air, everything. Him and Ginge were just immense at times as well.
They were. And I mean, look at what's interesting as well is how the relationship between players and fans. We've spoken about it already before, but you got to think Ginger's only has been here less time than Reed. Because obviously he left and came back, but still they have, it might be just personality. Reed was quite quiet. New Zealand. He was in, obviously he came from the Danish league as well, where Ginger was a fiery Welshman, and sort of the affiliation. You'd have a stronger fan affiliation, arguably, with James Collins than you would do with Winston Reid. And it's just me personally, I think, but it's just funny how different players, sort of.
It was a tough one, mate. It was a tough one. It was a tough one between Ginger and Reid. It really was. It was tough.
Yeah,
tough call. But I just went with Winston just because of he had that little bit more quality for me. When he's prime Winston Reid, he just had that little bit more quality.
Yeah, prime Winston Reid.
The other centre back.
Go for it.
Again, honourable mentions again, mate, for this position. Rio, obviously, what a player Rio was. Don't really need to say much about him. Anton Ferdinand scored one of the best goals I've ever seen from a centre back against Fulham. Goal. For me, mate, this guy has to go in. It's Ian Pearce. I love the guy. I thought he was
in my
amazing centre back. Absolutely amazing. All scoring centre back. Underrated. Passionate. Again, was so close to that England team. I remember he got injured. I was at the game when he got injured, and I turned to Lee at the time, and I went, "That's it, mate. He ain't going to play for England." Like, he was so close to playing for England then as well. He was immense.
And he was one of those. He was one of those. And what I love about some centre backs is he's one of those centre backs who'd play up front. It's like I'd love. Chris Sutton did the same as well, didn't he? He was up front. He played, and he was. I loved Ian Pearce. And talking about the championship deciding, he's part of the West Brom setup, I believe. He's part of the scouting. I believe he is. And so could see him back. But I loved Ian Pearce, and he wasn't given enough credit. You're right. He wasn't given enough credit.
He's got an absolute banger at Spurs as well that you can find on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. No, he did. Yeah, he was. He was a good player. He was in my 11 actually as well.
Oh, nice.
Right. Okay. Carry on.
Right. So, like I said to you, mate, the formation is 4-2. So I've got 2 CDMs.
Nice.
First one, of a Marmite player, perhaps with the modern ones, but for me, it has to be Scott Parker.
Yeah.
I think, he carried the team. Carried the team for 3 years. He carried the team on his shoulders.
Yep.
He did one skill and one skill only, but it works every time. Little pirouette. Yeah.
And do you know? And obviously Noble does that as well now.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, I saw the other day Deck did it as well.
Oh well.
It's like passing of the guard. It's
every goal he scored. Every goal he scored, the passion and energy that came out of him. The goal against Wigan kept us up that year. I was there, just absolute passion. The goal against Chelsea that people might not remember. What a goal that was.
Yeah.
Listen, he played for England. He won Player of the Year, the official Player of the Year, the Football Writers Player of the Year for a relegated side. And no other Wham players won that, to my knowledge. I might be wrong.
I don't even think anyone's done it from a relegated team either. I can't be honest.
So for that alone, he has to go in. He has to go in. What a player. What a player.
It's true. Yeah, totally
fantastic footballer.
Yeah,
just a shame he left how he did.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. It's like it's funny when people talk about people being legends and stuff, and the word legend is bandied around. It has different connotations, different generations. In the modern generation, it's someone who's probably been around about 3 or 4 years, because that's about the average of a player. You don't rarely get a mark.
I think I write down here 3-time Hammer a year. I think the only other people that have done that is Brooklyn Bonds, Julian.
Yeah.
So if you're in that, you're in that conversation. You've got to be. I wouldn't say a legend. Like you say, it's that word legend. But
it's got diluted. I think it's got diluted. He's and when people go, I don't. Just in case, maybe like Carlos Tevez. Carlos Tevez is a legend at West. He played half a season with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
games, scored 7 goals. Yeah.
Exactly. Where someone like Scott Parker, I'd sit up there and I would see some games where if it weren't going our way, to be honest, he played with a crap team really in on paper. There was times where he literally went, "I'm going to do it myself," and you could see him physically put his socks up.
Was it the West Brom game? We was 3-0 down, and that famous half-time team talk, mate.
Yeah,
That's a leader. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't the captain. He may as well have been.
Totally right, because he was
Yeah.
always talked about as being the West Ham captain, and he wasn't the captain. It was Upson or whatever, and it's
Upson,
yeah, good old
awful.
Upson.
Oh God, Mr. Ann Tompkins out to dry, did.
The man who famously retired the number 6 shirt at West Ham. Do you remember
that? Yeah, my other CDM. Just a few mentions that I forgot actually, mate.
Yeah.
Mark Vivian Foe. Obviously Sol was a good player and ahead of his time, I believe. It was before that position was appreciated. It's not my pick, but before that position was fully appreciated.
Yeah, he was the blueprint, wasn't it?
It's gradable. Yeah, it wasn't a recognised position. Before Akalali and people like that made it cool.
Yeah.
He was there doing it. Do you know what I mean? Johnny Monks, just purely for running around the corner flag. And love him or hate him. Frank Jr. was a fantastic player. Love him or hate him, great player. But for me, mate, I've put Declan in, mate. I think Declan, is the best young players I've ever seen come through. I think him and Scotty Parker together, if this was a dream world, and they was playing together, you can imagine the rotation. You go forward, Scotty, you go forward, Declan. Yeah. Excellent player, excellent attitude. It's West Ham. A shining light he's been for the past couple of years in some poor seasons. Just a wonderful player. I wish him well if he does go. Yeah, great player. He makes my 11, mate.
I know what you mean. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. I mean, despite the fact that everyone assumes he's going to be moving back to centre back eventually, I wouldn't, because I just think he's a cracking midfield player. And
if he gets some goals in his game like he did the other day as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being funny. Centre backs, you could go and get a decent centre back. Defensive midfield players are so hard to get,
especially with that elegance.
Box to box, exactly. Box to box players. He's a very, very rare player, and I mean, obviously staying up, see what happens. But I
think we get a year. I think we get another year. At least another year.
Yeah, and obviously, Mark's gonna be playing less for us. Mark's club captain. Totally agree if he's still at the club, but Deck will be playing captain. Do you know what I mean? I just think, I would literally give him the armband, now and say, look, give us 2 years. We're going to build the team around you. We're buying young British-based players, and you're going to be part of something. And someone like Declan, it might. I mean, you look at people like going back to the yesteryear before our time, Luke. Ever went down with us into in essence the championship and stayed there despite playing for he was England regular. I'm not saying we're going down with Declan Rice, because hopefully we're not, because we shouldn't be really.
As long as we don't lose 6-0 tonight.
As long as they lose 6-0 tonight and on Sunday,
yeah.
But it could really give it would be different. It would be different having a player show a level of commitment and a level of loyalty staying with a club. It's like Martin Noble. Martin Noble's revered because he's played 500 games for a club. Back in the day, everyone was playing 300-400. It's like we're playing 300 games, no problem. Playing 10 years. When I interviewed Tony Gale, every year was a testimonial year. That was a normal. Being the modern Martin Noble, God, could you imagine? But
amazing, mate,
it would give him something different. He wouldn't be one of those players, go to Chelsea and like Mason Mount, or go to Tottenham, or I think there's a real opportunity to do something different with Deck, and it's up to him really. He's one of those people who ain't going to kick his toys out if we turn down an offer from Chelsea.
I don't think
if it's not, if it was like he's 30 million and Batshuayi, we go see you later. He won't do a pie and kick his toys out. Do you know what I mean? He'd say, I know my worth to the club and stuff. But no, I love the man. I love it. He's great. Yeah. And he's again, doesn't take himself too seriously, does he? He knows he's a bit geeky.
A funny guy, mate. Seems a funny guy.
What I mean. I love people like that. They're the ones that you always use him for the prank videos, don't they, and stuff. And he always falls for it. Anyway, Dexter, we digress. Dexter, who's next?
So then it goes into a 3, like I say. So 3 behind the striker. On the right side of that is Tricky Trevor, mate. There's no doubt about it for me. I've written a few names down. Gossi, Bukovic, Mark Keller was a good player. I used to like Mark Keller as well, the Frenchman. Tricky Trev, mate. He scored some of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. The goal against Derby was just ridiculous. So talented, provider. lived up to his name, Tricky. You know, he was Tricky. Played for England, and remember some great goals against Man City, and I think it was Charlton as well. He scored this volley that just seemed, the ball seemed to go like that. Just what a player! What a player!
Yeah.
What a player!
He was, and he was a great player, and and again, what doesn't tend to happen very often with West Ham players is we don't tend to sign them in their prime. We always sign them like Joe Cole, for example, bless him, but he was bookended, of his career. Same with, Trevor was coming from QPR, and he was on the downward. Really, he came to West Ham, and then got back into England squad. Yeah, it was lovely to see. He's a lovely bloke as well, and
speaks very highly of the club as well. Speaks very highly of the club as well. Trevor.
He does. It'll be on the channel eventually, but yeah, no, I love Tricky Trev. He's what, yeah. I always talk about my granddad, God rest his soul, and his eyesight was going, and but anything that was done good by a black West Ham player was Trevor Sinclair. It might have been a save by Shaka Hislop, but it was like Trevor Sinclair, only bloody player on the pitch, and it's true. He just gave his all, didn't he? Whatever position he played,
fantastic player.
And that's a mark of a good player if they can play in more than one position, and that's what he did more often than not. But right, Tricky Trev on the right. Who's next, Emma?
Right, we'll go the left then. Honourable mention for Matthew Everton, because he scored a great goal in that playoff game. Scored a hat-trick for us at one point as well. Set up Marlon Airwood for a goal against Arsenal, I believe, when we won 1-0. Good little player. Maybe a bit of a bottle job. I don't want to say that about him. He didn't like to tackle, but he was a good little player.
I know what you mean.
For me, mate, he's the best player that's ever put on a West Ham shirt. It's Dimitri Payet, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's a controversial character, mate, but he's the best player I've ever seen. West Ham shirt. And that's saying something with some of the players I've seen. This guy finished 5th in Ballon d'Or. We are never going to get a player go do that again. Free kicks were just ridiculous. Time on the ball, the skills. Again, I come back to that word, moments. Listen, there was one every week. That season was just amazing. I'm privileged that I had a season ticket that year to see that man play. What a player. Even though it was only one season.
Me too.
Ridiculous, mate. The guy is just sensational footballer. Absolutely sensational footballer. There's not much else you can say. There really ain't. We're not going to talk about the bad stuff with him.
No, you don't. That's the idea. And it's like, you're right. And I've said it before on the channel. I can't think of any other time, any other player where all your mates who weren't West Ham fans wanted him in their team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like he was, when you're doing your fantasy football league teams, Payet was one of the top picked players like in that season. You're like, he was the man. But
he literally was top 5 players in the world that year. He was just sensational. Absolutely sensational.
And the Euros and everything around that. It was just like, you're right. It was an honour to watch him play it being the claret and blue shirt for West Ham, because one of those players come along once in a lifetime. And what happened. I mean, but in the same way that he came to us in a dodgy way as well, So, that's what you get with those types of players, those mercurial players. They're
the ones we love, mate.
And that's the baggage they come with, and so fuck, probably got another one of your picks. We got him because he pushed over a referee. That's the only reason we got that. So, we'll forget about that.
Definitely, mate. So just behind the striker, again, some honourable mentions, like I say, Berkovic, Yossi. I really like Nobby Solano when he was at West Ham as well.
Yeah, good shout.
What a player, he was 37 at the time, or whatever he was. He might have been 45 at the time. But his passing was just immaculate. He was one of the best passers of the ball I've ever seen in the West Ham shirt. But you mentioned him a little bit. You touched him a little bit. Joe Cole, mate, plays behind.
Yeah.
That centre, because I think Sinclair, Payet, and Joe Cole would just be ridiculous. The movement, like the interchange of play. I see his debut, fell in love with him straight away. Swansea game, 17-year-old coming on, about 200 step overs. And then the Youth Cup final was a few weeks later, 9-0. Again, what a moment. I think I was 15, I think I was at the time. Just a player, like, we've got a player here who's, at the time, he was being touted the next Gazza. Do you know what I mean? He was amazing player. He really, really was. The 5-4 game, you know, I keep talking about moments, but it's true. These moments, 5-4 Bradford, skillful, passionate. Again, I think he was a Hammer of the Year, 03, I've written down here. But a player, you know, one of the best young players that's ever came through our academy. Such a shame when he went to Chelsea, the skill was knocked out of him. I was heartbroken. I was on holiday in Falahaki when I was 19. He came up on the telly. So I'm enjoying one of the best holidays of my life. And he's sitting there in a Chelsea shirt. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. That's one of the most heartbroken I've been from West Ham as well. The day he left.
Yeah.
What a guy, what a player.
You're right. He was an amazing guy, and you know, still, you know, passionate fan of West Ham. Obviously, his dad.
Even his second spell as well. You know, his second spell, he scored a goal against Tottenham. That solidifies him. Do you know what I mean? Like, get that goal against Tottenham.
It's so funny how many of our idols, the people we talk, you know, people we revere, part of the reason is they scored against Tottenham. You know, Johnny Artson scored his debut. Cotty scored his debut against Tottenham as well. And you know, Joe was and you're right. He got skill beaten out of him when he went to Chelsea, and what could have been, you know. But then again, you know, it's like today's football. You know, you don't have. I mean, he was your typical free role player. You know, we don't have no one has a free role now. It's so decompartmentalized. That's a long word for Wednesday. But it is, and it's like you just let him play. You know, he could have, he just played, and he would have been a person.
Two seconds. Sorry, I do apologise.
Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoying the show. Loads of good guests coming up. just keeping people in
right, yeah. Sorry, that's my daughter.
All right, that's one each. You done it. That's all right, man.
Yeah.
But Joe Cole, you're right. He's just, he was a player you just let play. You wouldn't put him in a position.
He was a beautiful player, man. Beautiful player.
He was
and scored what a goal for England as well. Just the last thing on him, the goal against Sweden. What a goal that was.
Yeah, definitely.
And up front, mate. Again, honourable mentions, like I keep saying. Johnny Artson, what a player. You know, he was my first password at school. Artson. When I used to type it on the computer, John Artson.
As long as it's not now, you're okay, Luke.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just giving away your password for your computer.
You mentioned him, Carlos Tevez, mate.
Yeah.
In Ashton. I used to like Craig Bellamy when he was at West Ham as well. He was good, doggy little player, fantastic little player. There's only one man, mate. He's God. He's God to me. You know, he is the leader of my West Ham religion. Simone Zaza. No. No, he is an Italian. It's Paolo, mate. Paolo. Anyone of our generation that doesn't put Paolo in their team, I don't know what football they was watching during that time.
Yeah.
This man, he's another one, mate. Good for us. He was. We wouldn't have got him. That referee incident happened.
Yeah.
Moments as well. Drama. Just.
You're right. Drama.
He's pinnacle of legend. That man is a legend. Like, he is just. He had no pace. No. He would dance through. He used to dance. He used to stand a man up. As soon as he stood a man up, the right back, the left back, make the left back shit herself. He was like, I ain't going nowhere near him, because he would just.
It's that chop. He used to do that chop, didn't he? And that fake back heel, which was like the most overtly fake back. He almost winked. I'm doing a back heel, guys. And everyone sort of went, "Oh, okay." But I know what you mean. He was box office, wasn't he? The man was.
Oh, mate, he was sensational, mate. Absolutely sensational. I was there at Stamford Bridge. That one he scored. Everyone says that Wimbledon goal. I was at the Wimbledon game as well. That Stamford Bridge goal for me is even better. I prefer the Stamford Bridge goal, like the free kick ups and then the left foot, bang, straight past. What a player. I say he was there, that Man United game that I say sticks out as one of my best memories as a West Ham fan. I met him a few times, you know, even now, he's starstruck. The guy is, he's God. He's God to me. Do you know what I mean? He's God. There's nothing else I can say about him, mate. He's God.
Nothing. I mean, you know, as I said, I think you're right in your assumption, in your declaration that Payet was the best technical player you've seen, but Di Canio for me was the best player because you've got the technicality. Yeah, that's one part of the pie, but you need passion, you need entertainment. I think to be particularly a West Ham player, you need to entertain them, and Di Canio was. You know, you talk about the 5-4 game, and you know that's just epitomised West Ham. That era, you know, you'd turn out thinking, "Oh, we're playing Bradford." Oh, okay, but then we've got a game we still could talk about still 20 years later.
Arsenal game as well. He completely did Martin Keown and Tony Adams. Like these guys are Premier League legends.
And he had his shorts on backwards as well. That's the thing. He had his shorts on backwards because it was to stop being unlucky. And, you know, and that's what I love about it. It's all these sort of like, but that whole era, that whole Redknapp era was a bit like that. It was a soap opera. You had like the protagonist, you had like the Di Canios, you had the young English players coming through from the academy. You'd have, you know,
like Stuart Pearce and people like that, and run it at the time.
Yeah, and then you had like these, you know, these foreign players we never heard about turn up, and you know, Hugo Porfilios and Darnie, and exactly. But you didn't know, and you turned up excited about what Paolo was going to do, excited about whether John Moncur was going to get sent off, and you just had, it was like all these little stories, you know, now football's just so generic now, but you had all these different characters and stuff. And
that was my first season ticket as well. That year was my first ever season ticket. That year he scored the Wimbledon goal. So, you know, I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be like this forever now. Little did I know.
Completed
you know
it.
I mean?
West Ham support, I've completed it, mate. But no, I know what you mean. But it's, you know, as I said, there'll be another. There'll never be another Paolo. But you know, you'll get to. But you know, for the newer generation, there'll be. You know,
I thought Arnie was close. You know, Arnie reminded me a lot of Paolo. Very similar style. You know, stood a man up and didn't know what to do. That's the closest, I think. Like Payet was just unreal, but I think Arnie's the closest to that.
Yeah, because Arnie had that. Yeah, you're right. Arnie had that fight. Do you know what I mean? And like Di Canio would have that flair, that fight, and that sort of just on the edge of craziness.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't know one day he could an innocuous challenge would have flipped Arnie out, same as Di Canio. He would kicked out or pushed the referee over or something. You know. I know what you mean. He probably was the closest we had to him, and but no, it's lovely. Look, man, it's been great chatting to you, Luke. I've had a blast, man.
I've enjoyed it, mate.
I've had a real blast. Thank you to obviously spending that time. I could see some agonising decisions as well. I can imagine some late nights, you know, cold sweats.
I was sitting there like for about a week because I was meant to come on about a week ago. So I had the team, and then it's like, oh no, I'm going to change. You know, like what you do with Sun Dream team. It's like, oh, I'm going to change that one.
It's the worst thing to do because you're on lockdown, isn't it? It's like everyone's doing all their decorating because they're staring, looking at a wall, and they want to change the colour. It's the same with football team. And obviously, you know, guys, you know, get involved with the Three Hammers channel as well, the podcast and stuff. They do some great stuff over there. It's lovely to watch, lovely to listen to. And for myself and from Luke, take care, everybody. We'll see you again very, very soon. Come on, you irons. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons. See you again too. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.